Here, Atul sir. Atul sir, if you're experiencing network problems, should I ask Anand sir to take over?
Okay, so we have to start talking. Okay,
Yeah. Okay. Can you hear me now? Just final.
Yeah, we can hear
Yes.
you.
Yeah. Something was wrong, probably.
so we are live now.
Good evening, Atul. Good evening, Anand. Good evening to all. Yeah, we are getting the messages greeting us.
You're audible, sir. You're audible.
Thank you. So, good evening to all. We are doing good. We have Atul with me, and I'm Ajit. Hello, all. Welcome to this session on careers in fintech and blockchain. I'm sure you all are pretty excited about this technology, right? You all might have heard of blockchain, what it is, right? So we will be just taking an overview of this technology, what it is, okay, and why it is significant, how it is affecting the fintech, okay, and what impact it has on the current world, okay, the way we know this current world and how it is changing the world we know, okay. So welcome all. Just to give you a brief about myself, I have been working in the field of cryptography from last 8 years with a total 15 years of industrial career with various companies like IBM, Citrix, Symantec, Emerson, etc. And I have been working mostly in information security. And from last 5, 7 years, I have been working on cryptography, and I have also architected a few blockchains with some fintech companies. I have been CTO with them, right? I have written some tools to audit the smart contracts. So that tool is called Skoda. It's an open source tool, right? And so to give you the brief, I have been active in this field. Okay, so we have Atul sir. Atul sir,
Yes, can you hear me now? Yeah, I had
yeah,
some
I
problems
was
with the
just
internet.
yeah. So yeah, I
Yeah.
was just about to introduce
So,
myself.
yes. Uh, Sorry, there was some problem with my internet, but I'm back now. Uh, so, good evening, everyone, and thank you for joining for this wonderful session on technology-based careers in finance. Okay, we'll be covering some interesting topics such as blockchain, cryptocurrency, and emerging technologies in fintech space. My name is Atul Desai. I'm the head of technology at Dheya Career Mentors. In my role, I'm responsible for implementing modern and innovative technology solutions at Dheya. So we have today with us Ajit Hatti, who's a renowned technology expert in the space of blockchain, cryptography, and information security. So, with his 15 years of R&D experience in the area of information security, crypto implementation, he has been an author of some open source tools such as Llama. Ajit, probably you can explain more about Llama and Gibersense, which you have written, and also further talk about what you have done in the open source and cryptocurrency space. Okay. He organizes annual blockchain events and is a regular speaker at some of the biggest conferences, such as Black Hat and DEF CON. Uh, in the past, he has also worked with Citrix, Symantec, Emerson, and IBM, some top good companies. And now he's currently a founder of a company called Pure ID. It's a startup focusing on making applications passwordless. At Dheya as well, we are planning to use Pure ID in our applications. As we see, it's a very innovative technology. Uh, I'm really excited actually to have Ajit on this interesting topic. And I'm sure all of you would be eager to learn more about blockchain, cryptocurrency, and developments in this field. So with that, I would like to hand over to Ajit. Welcome, Ajit.
Thank you, Atul. Thanks a lot. Thank you, everyone, for being with us. Very good evening to all. Right. Thank you, Atul, for introducing me. Uh, so yeah, this is a very
I think
challenging
you already
spot where
did
we
your
have to
intro.
talk
You started with
about
your
the
intro. Sorry,
technology.
started with your introduction, and I just didn't realize that you
Yeah,
already had done some of the introduction. Some might be repeat, but perhaps you can also further talk about some experience that you have before we move on to the main topic.
sure. So, friends, I was working with a company called Zagas, so which was developing a blockchain solution for cross-border remittance, and that was focused for fully KYC based remittance, especially for the workers in Gulf countries. Right. So I was the architect for that. So there I got very good exposure on writing blockchain from scratch. We developed our own blockchain, right? And also we got good experience of securing the smart contracts that we do. So if you are aware of smart contracts, these are self executing code or event based codes which will fire or which will complete an action based on the event, right? So it's very tough to write such codes and very, very tough to secure. So I got an experience to do that and write some tools to do this security analysis of such tools. So I was saying, Atul, that this is a very challenging spot because it's hardcore technology topic, but we have to talk to very young budding students who are just new to this technology, right? So you can't
Sure.
fully get into the technology. Plus, you have to give them very brief and very good idea of the
Yes.
technology, right?
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah. So let's take a quick poll in terms of understanding what kind of audience we have, how many people, how many students we have, and how many parents we have. A quick poll will be coming up on the screen.
So yeah, I'm getting the poll, so
People
I
can
will
just
also submit mine.
yes,
Yeah,
yeah. So we've got about 54% students and about 46% parents, about half and half. So
right.
good. So, but of course, many of them would not really be familiar with the blockchain. Uh, as you said, you might have to give an explanation in terms of how the students would understand and their parents would really see blockchain as something which is happening in the future.
Right. So, should we begin with something that we know, okay, rather than starting with something is not known, okay? So, we might have heard of blockchain, and the very first thing the blockchain is affecting is the way we do our transactions, the way we handle our finance, or the way we look at money. Okay. So now money is a very interesting topic. Okay. So everything in the world, if you see, is driven by the economics or finance or the money. Okay. Now let's try to understand what money is. Okay, as I told you, we will start with something that we all understand. So let's see if we understand money, and we can explore more about our understanding about money. Okay, so let's get into this. Okay, so what is money? Okay, so you see some figures here. So there is currency. Okay, is that money? Okay, so you can give it exchange few goods against this, right? Then we have cards. People call it plastic money. Okay, this is money, right? So if this is money, then this is also money, right? You can swipe it and get whatever you want, right? Uh, so now you have Paytms or mobile-based wallets. I'm sure you all must have used it, right? So it holds some balances. You spend that, right? You see the number going up. If you receive some money, number going down. If you spend some money, right? So is this money? Okay, or you get a notification that this amount has been reduced from your account, or this amount has credited to your account. So you see the numbers, right? So is this money? Okay, out of this, what is money? So now if we take a look at it, or if we try to define money, okay, so some people will say anything of value is like money, or anything which we can barter, okay, is money, right? So we can barter gold, but gold is not money. Okay. Now, if we say money is something of worth, okay, then the currency is just a piece of paper, okay, printed in some fancy printing house, right? Coins are nothing but pieces of metal. Okay, their worth is lot less than what is printed on them, right? So money is of not of value. Okay, uh, and the numbers that you are having on screen, of course, they don't have any value. They are just the numbers which are appearing, right? And the card itself, uh, this card doesn't have any value. Okay, the numbers, they keep on changing, right? So they are just indicators of money. So what exactly is money? So if we look at how economists, okay, or how financial gurus define money, is money is trust. Okay, so we put our trust in these piece of papers, or on these numbers scrolling on our screen or mobile, okay, or in our SMS. Okay, so money is nothing but trust we associate with any instrument. Okay, it could be numbers, it could be this plastic card, right? So it is just a trust that we put into some system. Okay, we feel that if I give this piece of paper, I will get in exchange something worth it. Okay, so money is nothing but a trust. Okay, in the essence, it is a trust. Okay, so this is something which we all know, but we wouldn't have defined it in this way, right? So now, if this is money, okay, now let's ask ourselves, how much money do we own? Okay, is it the money that we have in bank? Is that the money that we own? Okay, or is that the money that we have in our wallet? That's the money we own. Okay, so if that's the answer, that sum total of money in my wallet and my bank is the amount of money I have, then think again. Okay, because what happened at demonetization, you had the money, but it didn't had value. Okay, because the trust factor changed. Now the old currencies, suddenly no one started believing that this is a tradable currency, or this is a government approved instrument, right? So, I mean, the moment government announced that no one will exchange this bills, at that moment, trust was dissociated with the very same papers, right? And how much money do you have? Whatever the numbers you had or the currencies you had in the bank, they lost the value, but bank ensured that you had the same balance, right? Irrespective of which currency you had deposited, irrespective of that, there were numbers against your account, right? So now, if you say that whatever I have in bank rather than the currency which I hold, that's the money I have, then think about this. What happens if you have large deposits in your bank and bank goes bankrupt? Okay, your value of all your money will become 0 minus 1 lakh. So up to 1 lakh is what you can withdraw. Otherwise, all your money is like seized, right? So now the question is, who is in control of your money? Okay. In some cases, you will see that government is in control of your money, and in some cases, the bank was in control. And if bank is no more there, so there is no more money, right? So in essence, you don't own your money, okay? Or the entities like government or bank, okay, they have control over your money, okay, and they might lose control on that money, right? So the money which we think that we earn hard and we own it, it's not our money, okay? It's just an instrument provided to us by government, okay? Now, how the money is tracked or how the money is accounted for, okay? So we keep ledgers for doing this, or banks or governments or any financial institutions, they maintain ledgers, okay? Now we have problem with this. We had problem with defining money, okay? We had problem with owning the money, who owns the money, okay, and who is in control of the money. Now let's talk about how we track the money. We keep ledgers, okay? We have an entry that someone gave me, say, 1,000 rupees, and I gave someone 2,000 rupees, okay? Now this piece of ledger is not validatable unless I go and check the other person's account where I had given him 2,000 rupees, or I see a debit entry in someone else's account where he has given me 1,000 rupees, right? So it has been tallied. So this is a double entry accounting system where I have an entry of incoming. It is valid only if the other person has an opposite entry in his account, right? So this is how we maintain our ledgers, right? Now there is a big problem over here as well, okay? Not exactly the way we keep these accounts, but uh, the interpretation which we do from these ledgers, okay? So one is you have to manage, you have to cross check all the different parties ledgers to trust this, okay? And the second is how we do our interpretation. Okay, a simple example. Let's say RBI prints 10,000 rupees. Okay, they, just to start with, a very hypothetical example. If RBI had to begin with just 10,000 rupees, okay, now they lended a bank ABC 5,000 rupees, okay, because they have to circulate it to the banks, right? And then it lends 3,000 rupees to as loan to other entities and keeps 2,000 rupees in reserve, okay? So this is the account of 10,000 rupees, okay? They have 2,000 reserves, lend 3,000, and 5,000 is given to a bank ABC, okay? Now the bank ABC gets 5,000 from RBI. Okay, it lends 2,500 to another bank and lends 1,500 as loan and keep 1,000 in reserves. Okay, and bank DF also does that. Okay, it gives some amount as loan to others and keeps some in reserves. Okay, and some disburses as loans. Okay, now if I ask how much is the money in circulation, okay, so how I will do that? I will ask each of the bank that how much of money they are doing business with. RBI will say we have printed 10,000, so we have all 10,000 rupees. Okay, if you ask this bank, okay, they will say we have 5,000. Okay, and this will say we have 2,500. Now, so here it's RBI, they know how much they have printed and that's what should be in circulation. But assuming this is like an ordinary bank, and to find the amount in circulation, we just sum up whatever numbers the banks give, because this is like a bank as well. Okay, it is separate from the printing entity. Okay, so they will submit their numbers 10,000, 5,000, and 2,500. And what we get the total amount in circulation is 18,500. Okay, but in actual, it's just 10,000 rupees which is being circulated, right? So the problem with this system is we will not have the clarity how much amount is with whom and total how much of money is circulating around. Okay, so we can't track it properly. So you see there are a lot of problems with the money. Okay, first you don't know who owns it, who controls it, how we track it. Okay, we don't have accurate tracking that who owns how much amount of the money in circulation, right? So this creates sort of problem. Okay, for the people who hard earn for it and they don't control it, right? So there was a change in scenario with a technology, disruptive technology called blockchain. Okay, so blockchain is a new technology which does nothing but keeping the book. Okay, it just keeps the book of transaction. So what is blockchain is just a book of transaction or a ledger of a transaction. Okay, and all the transactions that are happening, okay, it is kept in a single book. Okay, and the beauty of it is this, a copy of this book is with everyone. Okay, now today my account statement is only with my bank, and bank gives me the statement every time I have to go to the bank, right? And if bank does any deduction or addition of amount, okay, I will only know when bank discloses it, right? So, but here in blockchain, since it's single ledger, everyone posts entry to that ledger, and everyone has copy of that ledger. Okay, so it's a distributed ledger, right? Okay, so we have a poll. So let's answer this. Let's get back to this once we answer this poll. Okay, I will also answer this. Okay, so Atul, you want to announce the results of poll, or we are good to go?
Yeah, just yeah, we've got about 2%, sorry, 11% in 10th standard, and about 28% from 11th and 12th. About 42%, a big number, who have passed 12th standard and looking forward to really getting something interesting, knowing about blockchain and all that. And three,
Okay,
none of the above.
awesome.
I think they're 16%. They're parents, I believe.
Okay, okay, fine. So yeah, if any point of time you think that this is going too much technical and you're not understanding, just post in the chat and we will try to address that. Okay. Now, so blockchain is a technology. It's nothing but a book. Okay. So all the transaction goes in that one universal book, and everyone has a copy of that. And every copy of it is updated simultaneously. So even if one transaction is happening, all the copies are updated. So there is a piece of technology called peer-to-peer. Okay, so with that technology, all the ledgers are kept in sync. So everyone knows who is doing what, how much of money is being circulated where, etc. It is trackable. Okay, and since the copy of the ledger is with everyone, no one person owns it, and everyone owns it. Okay, so it is something called as code democracy. The blockchain is controlled by the code which runs the blockchain, and the code is written by the people. Okay, so it started with a great person called Satoshi Nakamoto. Who that person is, no one knows about him. Okay, he submitted it as a paper. If we see the history of it, in 2008, Satoshi Nakamoto, he wrote a paper about blockchain, and he created a use case called Bitcoin, and he started a blockchain. Okay, so gradually it became popular. People started using it. This was the first use case in May 2010, when someone bought a pizza by giving bitcoins. Okay, and after that, now the blockchain is everywhere. People are trying to implement blockchain wherever they are using systems, which is a multi-party system where there are trust issues, where you have to open up systems to parties whom you don't know, whom you don't trust, but still you want to have a trustable transactions. Okay, so there are several use cases of blockchain, but in essence, blockchain is a distributed ledger. Okay, it's a ledger or a book which is owned by everyone. Everyone simultaneously puts a valid transaction in it, or if the transaction has any forgery or trust issue, then everyone rejects it. Okay, it works like a democracy, right? So now, what blockchain does is it gives power to everyone to run this system with consensus. Okay, so consensus and distributed ledger are the two important properties of blockchain. There are other properties like immutability, etc., but those are very technical. We will not talk about them as of now. Okay, so yeah, so why blockchain is hot, or why blockchain is a new hope to the entire world dealing with money or the finance, is because this blockchain is owned by people, because everyone has a copy. Okay, it is operated by the people. People run it. Okay, because you own it. Okay, you take the transactions, or the node which you host that takes the transactions, validate the transactions, and then update all the other ledgers. So it's people who operate it. Okay, it is controlled by people. Okay, so if I have to do a transaction, so on blockchain, every transaction has some cost. I can decide what fees I want to pay or what cost I want to incur for this transaction. Okay, so it is totally dependent on the people. If I want this transaction to happen fast, I will increase the transaction amount. Okay, if I want to do it for free, I am willing to wait for it. I can do that as well, right? So that's how blockchain works. Plus, blockchain properties, algorithms, the proof of work, etc., which are involved. Few of the technical things which are involved can be changed any point of time by people with consensus. Okay, so people can come together, decide that this blockchain should work like this, and they can change the code, and it can make the blockchain behave. Uh, Provided all people decide together in unanimously or with a majority, right? So that is code democracy, that everything is controlled and approved by people. So that's the reason blockchain is very powerful, since it is managed by people, irrespective of the boundaries, citizenship of their uh, geographical location, okay, or their any other belongings. Blockchain is owned by everyone. Okay. Now there are variants of blockchain, but in essence, the cryptocurrencies which run on the blockchain or which are distributed or operated over blockchains, that doesn't know any boundary. So it gives entire world a uniform or a flat feed to operate. Okay. So that's the reason blockchain is a very powerful concept. It gives you the power to change, operate, control, and account for. Okay. So that's the reason it is disruptive. Okay, and it brings a lot of hope. Apart from that, it gives a lot of scope to use blockchain into various fields. So applications are infinite. Okay, I will talk more about what career opportunities we have, but this was about the blockchain and why blockchain is something which you should be really looking for, right? So Atul, what do you think? Is this good enough to give our young friends an idea of blockchain?
Absolutely. I think it definitely gives them an idea, I believe, in terms of what blockchain itself is as a technology. Okay.
Right.
Maybe if I can ask you some question in terms of what what types of blockchains are there in the market? I mean,
Mhm.
there are smart contracts, there is Bitcoin, or maybe talk about cryptocurrencies itself.
Right.
What kind of those cryptocurrencies are there in the market? I'm sure people are aware of Bitcoin because it's most common ones, but different ones that are in the market and how people use it, that will be really interesting.
Okay.
And
So
in the
as I
meantime,
told
there's a
you,
poll on the screen. If people can just answer the questions that you have in this on your screen.
right. Okay, so your first question, the type of blockchains. So there are various blockchains that we have these days. Okay, so one is public blockchain where anyone can host the ledger. Okay, and there are and anyone can submit transactions to it. Okay, we have permission blockchain where everyone can host the ledgers, but only certain people can authorize the transactions going into the ledger. Right? We have private blockchains where the companies they hold or they host the blockchain for their own purpose. Okay, and then you can have hybrid. Okay, so main thing is in blockchains you can have the anonymity, pseudo anonymity, or complete KYC as well. Okay, so
Hmm.
the the people who are participating in blockchain, they can participate just by proving their identity by public and private key. Okay, so this is more getting more into cryptography, but I don't have to reveal my name or my identity to you to prove that this is Ajit. Okay, so what I will do is I will give something called as public key to you, and I will encrypt something with my private key, whatever I want to do. If I want to say I want to give you say 100 rupees, I will sign it using my private key, which anyone can verify using my public key. Okay, so that proves that this transaction is coming from me. Okay, now when you want to spend it, okay, you just prove by signing the next transaction by your private key. Anyone can verify that with your public key you have that you have spent it. And why you have spent it? Because Ajit has at some point of time given you this money, right? So we don't have to reveal our identity. With public key and private key you can do all the transactions, and all the transactions are attributed to the key. So there is an anonymity factor here. Okay, so now there are various use cases with this. So if there are some agencies which are tracking you, you don't want to keep a track and trail of your money, you can use the system. Okay, now but still we know that these are the keys which are used, and these keys have so much of balance. Now if you don't want people to know that, you can use some blockchains or cryptocurrencies like Monero or Zcash, right? There are various Zsnarks. So there are various other cryptocurrencies like Raven Coin, okay, which are totally anonymous. Okay, they leave no trace of who has transferred someone what amount. Okay, and they don't even reveal how much of amount has been transferred. Okay, but all the logs are maintained. It is fully traceable, fully accountable, but not traceable to any individual keys. Totally fungible. So it's a bit more technical, but there are like lots of. There is Dash. There are other technologies as well, like IOTA, which uses various other mechanisms apart from Hyperledger, right? So there are daily few new innovations which are happening in blockchain. So you have lots of other cryptocurrencies as well. There is Bitcoin Cash, which is equivalent to cash, so it trades against like dollars. So you have stable coins as well, which is tagged to some fiat currency like rupees or euros or dollars. Okay, and their value is exactly that, right? So people can use these alternate coins rather than Bitcoin. So there is Ethereum, which is a very good platform, which has excellent support for smart contracts. So people they use Ethereum to do lots of other other blockchain based activities, okay, like transfers of rights or
Hmm.
transfer of some articles, etc. They tag it along with the Ethereum transactions. So there are a lot of use cases, a lot of new blockchains which are coming with different use cases.
Yeah,
Long answer for your short question.
but very well.
Yeah,
All right.
thanks. Okay, so next is these are the different use cases, but broadly, all the use cases of blockchain they fall into four major bucket. So one is smart contract. So smart contract based transactions you can do. So wherein if an event occurs, let's say we have an insurance use case where if it rains, okay, I am an insurance company and we have farmers around. If it rains more than say 200 millimeters in these days, okay, I have to pay an insurance to the farmers. Okay. Now, as soon as we get a weather update that it rained, the smart contract will automatically execute and it will credit the amount in everyone's account, every farmer's account. Right? So smart contracts are pre-written functions which execute as soon as the event triggers. Okay. Now the good thing is the farmers don't have to go and say that we suffered because of the rains, so please credit the amount, etc. No. So as soon as the event happens, you will get the credit. You don't have to wait. So that uh, reduces the delay, red tapes, etc. Okay, so this is a very good use case of blockchains. Digital currency, Bitcoin is very famous. We are getting questions like how to invest into Bitcoins or why Bitcoin founder is hiding, etc. Okay, so digital currency use case is known by everyone. Record keeping, yes, because it is immutable. Immutable means no one can change the records which are there in the blockchain. Now, how that immutability is achieved? Because everyone has a copy of it, so even if I alter few copies, but others have the valid copies intact, right? So as soon as people know that there are differences in my copy and your copy, we will settle it. Okay. Now there are various algorithms to settle it, but that gets settled to whatever is the valid transaction. Okay. So that's the reason it's a very good use case to keep your records over here. Securities, lots of use cases over there. Okay. You can put properties, you can do tradings, etc. Okay, you can register your vehicles based on that. You can track the ownership of the vehicles, right? You can use it since this also is resistant to various attacks like DOS and DDoS, because everyone has a copy. You have a distributed ledger, so it also has information security use cases where the availability is ensured, right? So these are the four major use cases that blockchain is used for. Okay. Yeah, time for another quiz, another poll. So as a student,
Paul, yeah. All right. Uh,
okay, I was very clear when I was student what I want to do.
yeah.
So since my
Interesting.
father was in army, so yeah, I had a lot of career choices. So I could choose anything between army, navy, and air force. So yeah, those were my
But you
career
ended up
choices.
doing.
So oh yeah, so I got into Air Force. I had congenital cataract, so I had to leave that, and now I'm into information security. So yeah, okay. So yeah, let's see what we have careers in blockchain village. Okay, so now we have two broad streams, okay, very broad streams related to blockchain careers. Okay, so one is building blockchain. So you can design your own blockchain, you can build your own blockchain, you can decide the functionality or design of it, right? So that is one, and another is building applications or applying blockchains for various use cases based on the existing frameworks. Okay, good example, you use Ethereum to uh, issue the certificates, okay, the passing certificates or degree certificates, okay, so that the degree certificates record are maintained in a blockchain along with the transactions which are happening, right? So that is one use case. So we have two broad careers. Okay, building blockchains is like building Bitcoin from scratch or Ethereum, Ripple, IOTA. Okay, and applying blockchains as in building the applications over top of it is you can create some use cases for doing remittance with KYC, without KYC, whatever. Okay, with multiple currencies, right? Or you can do property registration, medical records. Okay, or you can do supply chain management, build applications on top of existing blockchains. So these are some career options that are available, two broad categories. Now we'll see what we need to get into these jobs. Okay. So if you decide to build your own blockchains or audit the blockchains, build doesn't mean you build, but you maintain or you enhance the existing blockchains as well. Okay, or fix the issues, the infrastructural issues. Okay, for that you need to understand the computer science concepts very well, and on top of it you have to understand security, because this is all about security. Because your ledgers or the blockchain ledgers will be with all the untrusted parties, the people who you don't even know, okay, who they are, and they can do anything with that. Okay, so the system has to be robust and resilient in itself, right? So that's the reason you should be very thorough with security, and cryptography is something which is very important, right? Now for that you need to have your basic education in computers. So you can do BTech, MCA, MCS. Okay, so you should have a good degree which gives you a good knowledge of computer engineering. Okay, for cryptography you have to be so either if you want to do an applied cryptography, then you will be learning cryptography aspects in your computer studies. But if you want to do a theoretical cryptography, which again lands you into blockchain for very good updates, enhancements, or very good concepts of proofs, then you have to pursue your PhD in mathematics. Okay, mostly in number theories, or there are a lot of branches like finite field, or basically cryptography. Even statistics is good, right? So it can help you, but mathematics is the core of cryptography. Okay, you should have solid understanding of security, which you can build with doing some courses online. Okay, software engineering concepts are must, so that will be covered in your degree courses. Okay, but you should have degree courses in computer science, or you can pursue mathematics in your degree and masters. Okay, now coming to the applications. Okay, so applications, you already have a blockchain. Okay, blockchain provides you the framework, the way it does the transaction, addresses the transaction, writes the transaction. Right, now you have to build an application on top of it. Okay, so for that you again need a basic computer degree, or even a diploma will do. Okay, there are short courses which will teach you to code simple applications on blockchains. Okay, so all the blockchains, right from IBM to Monero. Okay, all these companies, they have their community, which give out frameworks to try out sample applications on top of the blockchains, right? So you can do those courses. Again, computer science basic degree is important. Even if you don't do that, that's fine. Okay, because you're not going to change anything fundamental, but write new applications. Okay, but that takes a lot of good imagination, needs a bit of experience as well. But you can get them with short courses on blockchain villages, on blockchains. Okay, so this is how you can land into these careers. There is another career field here, blockchain philosophers. So what are these? They just think of the new use cases which they can bring to blockchain. Okay, so either the blockchains, existing blockchain, can support those use cases, or they may not. If they may not, then you design your own blockchain, or you get it designed. Okay, so this is blockchain philosophers like Satoshi Nakamoto, who brought this concept. Okay, and created bitcoins, right? And even uh, we have Vitalik. So Vitalik Buterin is also a philosopher. He imagined Ethereum with smart contracts and did it, right? Rohas Nagpal, he's an advocate from Pune, and he is doing Prime Chain. He is also a philosopher, but he has also created this platform. Okay, so you can take inspiration from all these people, right? So now Satoshi Nakamoto is a big inspiration for all philosophers who want to bring some use case and create their own blockchains, right? But this is something to be pursued in later stage of your career, because it takes a domain knowledge. Okay, I have seen people bringing blood banks to blockchains, right? Milk supply to blockchain, right? So that needs some domain expertise. So that will come later in later stage of your career, but it doesn't stop young people who can think of the scenarios or see the problems in the society, and can imagine a blockchain solutions. Okay, so this is a very wide open field. Okay, you can put your imagination, nothing is limited. Just put your imagination and you can do it. So we say that do what you love. Okay, and blockchain will happen. Okay, you will find some use case that you can solve that problem with blockchain. So you just don't worry about, just go on doing what you are doing, just be good at it, and later you will find some way to put it on blockchain, right? So these are broad careers and the way to reach at those. Okay, any questions that we can take?
Yeah, I think the last statement is really amazing. Do what you love, and blockchain will happen.
Yes.
Because it's ultimately about your passion. If you're passionate about maybe creating a blockchain or using an existing blockchain, the passion to create that career in blockchain, things will happen.
Right.
Perfect. All right. There are some questions. Of course, some people have questions, but looks like most of them have questions related to Bitcoin itself.
Right.
There seems to be a lot of interest in Bitcoin. Uh, one, uh, I think Hardik mentioned how to invest in Bitcoin. Uh,
Okay.
Abhi mentioned how do you purchase initial Bitcoin? Uh, your views
Right.
on that, please.
Okay, so there are multiple ways to get Bitcoin. Okay, either you mine it. Okay, so what mining is? You host a Bitcoin node. You facilitate the transactions, validate the incoming transaction request, and validate them, and put them in a block. Mine that block. Okay, and if that block is accepted by everyone, you get the base coin, Coinbase. What is the reward for the block that you mine, right? And you will get the uh, Bitcoins. So that's one way. Second is someone gives you Bitcoins, but the question is why someone will give you. Okay, someone will give you if you give them something of value, that is either the dollars in exchange or something else in exchange. Okay, so that's the way you can get it. Or another thing is you can buy them from exchange, like Coinbase is an exchange. Okay, so there is a question that do I work for Coinbase? No, I don't work for Coinbase. Coinbase is a very good exchange, world's most trusted exchange for cryptocurrencies. So they are the sponsors of the blockchain village, which I do. Okay, and they have very strong security. So their security team is a very good friend of mine. Okay, so they are a friend of mine, but I don't work for them. So you might be asking because of the T-shirt that I'm wearing. Yeah, so this was I Hack Blockchain T-shirt, which was printed by Coinbase and given to me. Okay, so yeah, yes. So three
All
ways:
right.
you mine it, you get it from someone, or you purchase it from the exchanges. So in India, we don't have blockchain exchanges, but you can buy it in dollars from foreign exchanges.
Anay has a question. Can I do blockchain along with my job?
Oh yes. Oh, in fact, you can do anything along with your job. So unless it
Yes.
conflicts with your job description or plus whatever rules your employer posts on you, okay. If it is legal and if it is permissible with your job rules, you can do anything along with your job.
Yeah. As long as you have passion towards it,
Yeah.
right? You have interest in it, you have passion, and you wish to really put time and effort in learning and understanding the concepts of blockchain, applications of blockchain, and how it would be used in future. Okay. Uh, One more question. Sanchit Deshpande has a question. But don't blockchains come susceptible to hacking?
Oh yes.
Now,
Blockchains. Yes. Yes.
Ajit,
Yes. Yeah.
you are a ethical hacker, I believe.
Yes. 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 That's how I started my
Have you
career.
ever tried hacking a blockchain?
Yeah. So that's our job, and that's what we do at Blockchain Village. Okay, so this is what we do. We hack blockchains. Okay, so there are various aspects to it. Okay, so the blockchain, the structure itself is like very robust. Okay, now there are various other ways to steal bitcoins or to affect the blockchain transactions. Okay, so you can steal these from the wallets that people are holding. Okay, but again it's very difficult. Okay, now uh, but I mean, okay, this may not be a good forum to discuss these things. Okay, but yes,
Yeah.
they are susceptible. There are various avenues. Okay, the nodes itself on which platform you are hosting, that might be vulnerable, plus the wallet where you are holding the keys to your transactions or the currencies, that might be leaked. Okay, or there are various other malwares which will steal the keys or replace the keys in memory. So suppose if I'm sending uh, a Bitcoin to Atul, so I have to copy Atul's public key on which I have to send those coins, right? So now I can't type it. Okay, because I can't see the key and write it accurately, so I will copy paste it. Okay, now some malwares are aware that there is a key which is copied in memory, so it will replace by their own key. And now when I push the transaction, the money will go to the crook but not to Atul. Okay, so you can code such malwares, and there are ways to do these. Okay, so yes, the blockchain based transactions or the coin exchanges, they are susceptible to hacking, and there are various attacks which happens day in day out, and that's what we discuss at Blockchain Village. Okay, if you are interested, then follow Blockchain Village, the research papers being submitted over there, and what the world renowned hackers have to share with the community, their latest studies, analysis, forensics of the blockchain hacks which they have seen.
All
Yeah.
right. The legalities of blockchain, particularly in India, do you have any view on it?
Yes,
Is it
so
legal
blockchains.
to mine blockchains? Is it legal to buy blockchain? Sorry, not blockchains, bitcoins.
Okay, so blockchains are perfectly legal. Okay, because blockchain is nothing but a distributed ledger. Cryptocurrencies.
Mhm.
Okay, now mining infrastructure. Forget about legality. I mean, hosting it and giving it the amount of power supply it needs is very expensive. Okay, uh, it is shady. We don't allow running exchanges. We, as in the government of India. Okay, the cryptocurrency exchanges are not legal as of now, but there are framework being discussed and put in place to make to decide on whether it has to be legal. Okay, so the main question is about accounting, how to account for it. If you get a Bitcoin, okay, so Bitcoin has a value, and anything you get of value, it is susceptible to tax, right? Or it is liable to attract taxes, right? Now, if how to see that? If you are mining it, then you are doing a work. Okay, so is it like your income? If it someone is sending you a Bitcoin, then is it like someone is gifting you, so you are liable to pay a gift tax, right? So these are the interpretations that has to be done, and how someone will disclose that I have received, because there is no name attached to the keys, right? So how to trace that? So there are a lot of angles to it. So uh, this is still under consideration, still under discussion at the government, as far as the bodies who frame the policies are concerned. And I I know few of the people who are involved into that, and yeah, it's still under consideration, and there is no clarity as such. So main issues from government side is taxability and traceability. Yeah, so it is borderline. You can possess bitcoins, but you can't mine them, or you can't run a exchange. Okay, so that's the short answer.
All right. Uh, Let me ask you something very generic in nature. The future of
Mhm.
cryptocurrency, the future of money itself. Do you see paper money disappearing, digital money coming up, and maybe in future we would just have cryptocurrency that will be used for trading in business or buying something? What is your view on it?
Okay, so digital currency, yes, it will be picking up, and it has already picked up, because what happens is paper money, or the fiat currency that we hold in our hand,
Mhm.
right? So that increases the cost of money. The amount of money the banks spend on distributing those money, circulating those money, putting them in the cash dispensers, that is ATMs, right? Collecting the cash from the bank, counting it, right? So all this increases the cost of money. Okay, and how that cost of money affects us, or you don't uh, pay for that money, right? It's your money, you withdraw it, right? But the cost is incurred in terms of the taxes we pay, right? So that has increase the cost of each and every services that we access because the money is costly. Okay, and we don't realize that. So if we all switch to digital currency, we will be saving a lot on the just circulation of the money. Okay, so that will bring down the cost of most of the commodities, right? So yes, digital currencies are very good thing. Now these digital currencies will be cryptocurrencies or the fiat currencies, like the government regulated currencies. Okay, so both will be coexisting, but people will be having a lot of faith in the cryptocurrencies because when did Bitcoin started picking, or when Bitcoin became a thing? It was just after demonetization, because people were shaken by the demonetization. That's the time when they realized that we don't
Right.
control our money, right? And they were looking for different avenues to put their money into, where they have some security. So earlier, if you remember, it was a Swiss account. Okay, put your money in Swiss account, and your money is safe over there. But governments changing, their policies changing, Swiss account is no more safe. Now people see that Bitcoin is safe. You put their money, and yeah, it is safe there, right? So yes, as people are becoming more aware that the sovereign currencies have their own issues, people will be going towards cryptocurrencies. Plus, some blockchain-based currencies are bringing you more benefit on cross-border remittance. You can take the same number, no matter on which country you are, you can spend it without carrying the actual fiat currency of that country. So it is very convenient as well. Okay,
Yeah.
so yeah, from different angle, if you think, this will be becoming mainstream. Slowly, it will be becoming mainstream.
All right. Excellent. Beautiful. The world is changing with all these cryptocurrencies, how the way things are shaping up. Facebook also
Right,
came up with some currency few months,
Lyra.
about a
Yes.
year back, I believe. Libra,
Yeah,
probably.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah, that didn't go well, but I think it started launching its currency at that time, its own currency.
yeah.
Uh,
So it was neither a cryptocurrency, not a blockchain. It was just a digital currency, which their own digital currency. So yeah, not the community. So there is a strong community who want to have liberation from the government's control. Okay, or they want to control their own money or regulate their own money. So they are the people or the community which are the driving force. As of now, it's the driving force of the blockchain-based currencies. Okay, so they didn't pick up the Libra. So that's the reason it didn't pick up. So it has to be picked up by the community if it has to become mainstream.
yes, absolutely. All right, perfect. Uh, we have about 4 more minutes. If audience have any questions, just post it. There's one question from Sanchit. Is there a way to track Bitcoin transaction as it is one of the main transactions on the dark web? Dark web itself is a scary place, I believe. So,
Yes, there are ways. Okay, I mean they are tracked. People are prosecuted or people are taken to the task. Okay, and there are ways. I will just give you a brief idea. Okay, all the nodes to which your transactions are submitted, they might keep track of from where I'm getting these transactions. Okay, because many of the nodes are hosted by the federal agencies themselves, right? And
yeah,
once they know that this kind of transaction is coming from this IP, they might trace the person. Okay, so we call bitcoins as anonymous, not total anonymous. Okay, now if you say that I will be using Tor or IP2 or Tari, these kind of proxies, then again these proxies are infiltrated by government. Okay, so we are getting into darker discussions which I don't want to have with young young friends.
absolutely
Okay,
not here. Yeah,
yeah. Those
yeah,
are hardcore my business talks, which I don't want to do on this forum.
yeah. Uh, there's one question. Why are bitcoins expensive?
So anything becomes expensive. It is
It's
if it is more
relative.
in demand, yeah, and less in supply. So
Yeah,
that is with what bitcoins now.
sure, sure. Yeah, I think we definitely have a bright future with this technology like blockchain and cryptocurrencies. I'm sure people would be interested in getting into these career options. Of course, there's a lot of hard work required, as Ajit mentioned. There's a lot of learning, but it doesn't matter. Do what you love, and blockchain will definitely happen.
Exactly. Yes.
All right. Uh, we have 1 more minute. If there are any questions, please post. I think there's one person, Naveli, who had raised her hand some time back. Is there any question from her or him? Sorry.
Uh,
All right. How do you earn from Bitcoin? That was the question from Naveli.
okay. So when you mine the blocks, okay, then you get a reward for mining a block. Okay. Now, what is mining a block? Suppose I want to send a Bitcoin to Atul. Okay, so this is one transaction. Okay, now you collect such several transactions, you verify them. Okay, that Ajit is sending one Bitcoin, so he should have first at first place he should have a Bitcoin, right? So you validate that. So how you will validate that? You check the history of my public key that has someone transferred me one or more Bitcoins on this public key, right? So for each transaction, you have to do a thorough validation. So once you do that, then you create a block out of it, and then you have to mine a block. So what is mining a block? You serialize the block, append a number to it, and mine it. Okay, or generate a hash of it. That hash should have a leading number of zeros, say 16 zeros. Okay, if you don't get hash of that block plus the number as zero, then you increase that number. You start with zero, you increase that number by 1, 2, 3, 4. For some number, you will get the block's hash. So now, what is hash? Is a cryptographic hash like SHA-256, MD5, etc. But here it is SHA-256 hash for let's say. So you have to hash the block and a number which gives say leading 10 zeros. So that is indicator of difficulty of the block. I will not go much into detail. So you have to find that number for which you will get say leading 16 zeros. So till that time you have to go on enumerating that number. So once you get that number, you say that you have mined the block or you got that number. Okay, now once you do that, you transfer that block to everyone saying that this is a new block in the blockchain. If everyone agrees, then that's a block which is added on top of the blockchain. Okay, and since you are the one who verified all the transactions in the block and you found that number which gives you all leading zeros, if we take the hash, or we say you mined it, okay, then you should be getting the reward. Okay, so the reward now is how much? 12 point. Okay, so it started with 50, became 25, 12.5, and now it is half of 12.5. Okay, so that is the reward that you will be getting, and this reward amount gets halved by every 4 years. Okay, so that's the simple answer. You do the mining and you will get the money. Okay, so now mining is not
Perfect.
not easy, not easy. It's very very difficult because you put a lot of computers to do parallel processing. Okay, so one computer will start mining from trying to mine or numbers from 0 to say 1000. Next will from 1001 to 2000. So you have to put a lot of machines in parallel to mine that block or find that hash. Okay, so it's difficult, very computation intensive task. Okay, so yeah, it's not that easy to earn money from bitcoins nowadays.
Right. Very good. Very exciting topic. And Ajit, I'm sure all our participants have learned something new and would really uh, think of pursuing some career options in this technology. Uh, with this, thank you all and wish you all the best. If you
All
have
the
any
best, people.
questions related to blockchain, if you have any questions related to blockchain or uh, anything to in terms of how you want to shape your career in blockchain, please reach out to Dheya, and we are happy to help you. Thank you.
Thank you all the very
Thank you.
best to you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Atul. Thanks for
Thank,
having me.
thanks, Ajit. Bye.
Thank you. Bye.